Are you okay?
Yes.
So, what is the question?
So you put in the title, Chop the Wood and Carry the Water. What do you mean by this?
See, you see around, there's a big, huge tree, and the whole tree is contained a little seed, which is hardly visible. eh? In the seed, the whole tree is contained.
Mhm.
So, is the consciousness. Consciousness, uh, like unmanifested and manifested. So, in the little mustard seed or any seed, you will not see the big tree, the branches, flowers, all are contained in the seed. So, the life cycle, manifest, unmanifest, unmanifest, manifest. There is nothing which dies. Death and birth, they are conceptual word. They're just the words. Like the when wave is moving to another, down, up, ripples up. So the same way the human being the ripples, the thought. One thought fulfills into another thought. Desire. It it changes it circle the object. You were looking for a house, you became the homeowner. Now you are looking another thing. So it's the one. You see, objects changes, but thinking is non-stop. What was the difference? In the enlightened Buddha, and Buddha was a prince, but when he got enlightened, at his time, at his times, there were hundreds of princes. They all start changing, and slowly, they were enemies of Buddha. They were enemies of him, but then they became follower of him because after enlightenment he became the king of kings. What was the change it happened in him? The change in him was complete circle. Complete circle means fulfillment versus fulfillment. Now, fulfillment is the objective world. Then you are moving to another desire. But then you become the Swami. Swami means the master. The master means from person to presence, from you discover you are the wholeness. What you are seeking, you are already it. The time is no longer. That is a blastful love. That's the real meaning of love, where there is no subject seeking the object. Otherwise, even after getting the objects, you move on other objects constantly. But are you anxietyful in the sound sleep?
No.
What happens in the sound sleep? No more wanting, no more seeking. Imagine that sound sleep 24/7. Would you like? You,
No.
you don't want your want. It only linear. Linear mean it if it happens, then nothing like that is worth desiring. Eh, So is the death. In the death actually is the long sleep, is the no more anxiety, no more thinking. So in the Western language, the silence, they misunderstand that when you don't speak. No, one is the mouth speaking and the words, but the inside, if the thinking mind, the anxiety mind is silent, that is the fulfillment versus fulfillment.
Mhm.
The apparently world, apparent means the images and figures and all that. They are into this beyond the name and form. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is the most powerful number? Is the zero. Zero uh, is nothingness. You put after 1 or 2, it becomes more powerful. So even the quantum physics says maximum activity in the state of vacuum. So why people were going to Buddha or all the kings and lot of princes, they transformed as their disciples, because the real royalty is when there is supreme peace, supreme bliss, and is not something to achieve, it already is. It depends on you when you shut up this constant chattering box on the top of your head, or in the is it in the top of head or in the middle or inside? It does quiet in the sound sleep, you are doing no doings. You are not doing even thinking. And that nurture you for the next day, the energy, next day. That being nobody, being no thinking, no bigger title, but you get your energy from nobody. Sound sleep is the real treasure. But mind is so cunning that for its security, it invent a tool, oh, up there, but that up there infinite is hidden with the finite in your body mind, just like the whole tree is hidden in the seed. The same way, the eternal spirit, eternity, the real self, is not the name and form, the body and mind. Body mind is just like the wave's outer layer. And you know it, your heart knows it, but you are so much lost and lost and lost into the jungle of thoughts. You see, if you all around, the plants are not blood pressure, the animals not blood pressure, human beings more and more anxiety, more and more psychosomatic disease. And within this planet Earth, if you analyze the people who live different style in Japan, or you go to Africa, they don't have that disease which are being born here. Fear, 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 perpetuate, constant anxiety, restlessness. So, what was the difference in Buddha and enlightened Buddha and the other prince? He was born a prince, but he put a question mark. Why human beings suffering, which is common? He was not suffering. He had all the material things he can imagine. But it's not that he as a person. He as a person, of course, one says all enlightened is the light. Means all are the same. Whether it is Ramana Maharishi, whether it is Buddha, or whether it is Krishna or Jesus Christ, all those are just the words, word, name. But light is one. Like water is one, H2O2, aqua, water, pani, 100 words, but it's all oneness. You cannot step out of the truth, and truth cannot be spoken because it's beyond the words and languages. Why do I bother for the truth? Why do I bother for the silence? Because I am so occupied into my work. Yes, yes. This life of pleasure, pain, will bring you more pleasure, pain. So, the one who is enlightened is not that he start growing another horns. No, is the practicality of life. It is seeing through the illusion. It is seeing through the ignorance. Because man tried to be clever to understand the infinite or the eternity through words, through the little brain, but it cannot be known and unknown, beyond the two. Yet it knows through the heart, yet it knows all the time. Even a little baby, little animal, they know it. But why we are living a life of standing on the head all the time, 23.5 hour in daily life, standing on the head. Head means the headache, ego, 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 ego. Only slowly crawl in the sound sleep, hardly. Of course, the death teaches the lesson, the tragedies teach the lesson. There is a new way of living, but that is for the dumb, foolish people who knock out on your accidents to wake you up. No, intelligent is how to live, how to be the master, means master of life, not being dragged like a dragged machine. So, realization already is. Supreme luxury already is. Your attitude, perception changes. Then you start seeing the eternity in the blade of grass, in the little things. The ordinary things become extraordinary because you have opened the heart center, which is here and now, not stuck and caught in the time. Time means the excessive thinking, overthinking, overthinking. What you say?
Well, it's a common theme. Keep the mind quiet, not just during moments when you sit, but during your daily life.
Yeah, and even in common language, the spiritual life is a different way of life. It changes means that life is not for 9 to 5 work hard, that the old thinking, but minimum effort, maximum productivity. The intelligent way, intelligence, creativity is not learned through books.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's the quality of life which changes. The art of living, the science of being. We have forgotten, we have gone astray from the being space. Even in the material world, you can see the smart people, which are the banks, they don't work, run around, and they make the most money. You are to learn from Warren Buffett. Investors, smarters, intelligent people, they don't waste life for running around and becoming a machine. And there is nothing wrong with the machine unless the machine break up. So was the title that chop the wood, carry the water. That the symbol of means the extraordinariness, what is seeking in material world is for a reason. The all material world is seeking. You see, the foods are changing, the houses are changing, the clothing industry is changing. It has to because it's meant for change. For more, new model, new kind of shirt, new kind of clothing. Nothing wrong with that as long as you're not lost into the jungle. The being is about the mastery of life, means perfection is in the isness. The perfection is here and now. Don't get befooled by the monkey mind, by what your eyes, ears hear, new music, eyes, and you are lost. All the holy scriptures are not holy if you're not enjoying in your daily life. Daily life means now. And that's what I'm indicating, that you don't need the technique and method to achieve that. Because that wholeness is, is begging the mind that how you have forgotten me. The real love is not into fancy images and concepts and big fleshy flesh. It's into even little simple things. It's into the behavior of each other because there is no other. The celebration is not into things, rather opposite. It's not dependent on the objects, rather otherwise, where subject and object disappear, time is no longer. Just see around. The plant kingdom, the animal kingdom are much more enjoying that way. Only human being think in their thinking, they are something, somebody, which is only a concept and a story, which appear and disappear in no time. Appear and disappear all the time, every week. Beverly Hills Courier, they are dying, leaving behind, leaving behind, leaving behind. Of course, if you are smart, try to take with you. All you will leave is the numbers, papers, that's all. For the enlightened person, 1 hour become like 100 years. Enlightened person, even 50 years, like the Vivekananda, Shankaracharya, 33 years they lived in the physical body, but they lived like 33 million years. Why? Because 100 million years become like 1 hour for them, because the consciousness is not in the numbers. The 1 minute of love become like 100 years of rotten pleasures. So imagine, once one understand awakening and awakened, oh, the time is no longer. They say that's all together different kind of living being, where the thought desire don't even come close to you. It's like one little one little diamond can buy the whole block, can buy 10 houses. The same way, all you need is love, but find out what is love. When there is no lover and beloved, there is no object and subject, there is no duality, there is no friend and enemy. Oneness without the two. No seeker and seeking. You cannot achieve it as in your daily life. You don't program a dream, you don't program a sound sleep. Oh, it will come at 11. Try. It's coming now. I'm going to sound sleep. No. It's part of that oneness. When descent, the little individual become indivisible. That's the real nature of the consciousness. Oneness without the two. And don't to be clever to figure out with your tapes and words. That's why the satsang is beyond words. Is the, like, you put the magnet with the iron and don't shut it up. It doesn't chatter. Make me magnet, make me magnet. The silence happens. It cannot be made. Meditation happens. It cannot be done and practiced. The real one is already is. Any other question or we end the stream? We end?
Mm,